Here we're going to go over the Extron system. This is exactly the same for every single room that we have laid out here. The components that we have here is we have the MLC, that's the actual controller. We have the AV front transmitter that has an HDMI port as well as a VGA in. This is also going to be where you hook up your ALS system, because it's going to be a portable ALS system that I believe that they checked out, and they will hook it up to this as well. We have our short throw projector.
What's ALS?
ALS is for people that are hard of listening. It's for being American Disability Act compliant, so that they could actually, it's a headset that they wear. We have our short throw projectors that are already keystoned on, and then we have our housing for all the equipment right here. And then on the back wall, you have the second transmitter, that's 2 HDMIs. Up here we have our PVS switch. We have our power supply as well. And we also have our VLR receiver. This is where the microphones actually give their signal to. This unit supplies power to this whole thing, to all the pieces of equipment, including the MLC. And it also has a built-in fan. To access this, all you simply got to do you shouldn't have to take off this braided cable unless you're really removing equipment, but there shouldn't be any need for that. It just simply latches. So to open it, you pull these 2 tabs and it drops down. The other piece of equipment that we have for you, we have a student microphone. It's a handheld. And we also have a teacher microphone that they could wear, whether it be clipped on or around the neck. Each classroom has its own microphone set that is specifically linked to their equipment. If you switch it to different rooms, it will have to be relinked to that. So keep them together. And they also each come with their own actual charging bay as well.
Are they marked per room?
Correct, they are going to be marked per room, yes. To turn on the system, it's very simple. You hit display on. When you see this light flashing, it means that it's warming up. You'll also see a light flashing on the Epson projector. A lot of people want to try to hit the input selections that are here on the right-hand side, but with this light flashing, you're not able to do that. It will not allow you to. It'll give it time for the projector to actually fully warm up. Once it's fully warmed up, it will turn solid. It takes a couple minutes maybe, depending on how long it's been since you turned it on. As you see, it's solid now, so that means it is on. These 3 buttons right here are not programmed to do anything, so you don't need to worry about these. If they push them, they don't do anything whatsoever. This group of buttons here are labeled, so the front HDMI corresponds with the front HDMI transmitter. The front VGA corresponds with the front VGA input. The rear HDMI corresponds with the rear HDMI, and the rear HDMI 2 corresponds. Everything is labeled on the faceplate as well as on here, so that when a teacher would look, they see AV front HDMI, and they could look front HDMI. That one will be labeled as well for that. To switch inputs, you simply select the input that you wish to go to. Right now, I am connected with a VGA cable, which is the style that we will provide for you guys. It has a built-in audio jack. Since it is VGA, it does not carry an audio signal over the VGA cable. It will need to have a 3.5 cable. I have it hooked up into my iPad. So if I want that, since I plugged into the VGA port, I can go front VGA. When I go into front VGA, it automatically switches and selects. You may notice that the image is smaller. It's because it's off of my iPad. The resolution It's on auto aspect ratio. So depending on the resolution of your guys' computers that you'll have, it will put out the best image for that.
You said you're gonna supply the VGA cables.
Correct. VGA and HDMI cables.
And what's the length of those cables you're gonna be
These cables are
providing?
6 feet long.
So if a teacher has an Elmo
An
and
Elmo.
they need to hook it up, they need to be there or within 6 feet, yes?
Within 6 feet, correct. They could be, depending on where they want to be, have the Elmo at. You could either have it in the front or in the back.
Well, the Elmo's not gonna need the audio cable, so our existing long VGA cables that a lot of them have should work, because they don't need the audio.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
But I was wondering if you would supply longer ones.
No, we are not supplying those as well. Just the 6-foot HDMI and 6-foot VGA cables for each classroom.
Okay.
So once you have your source on, you're able to control it from your laptop, from your iPad, from your phone, whatever it may be, and it will correspond to the actual projector. If you have a video playing, the volume knob to control the actual audio is just a knob, and it says volume. And it turns up, it turns down.
You have the Apple TV or something?
No, we don't have any Apple TVs here.
So if we did get Apple TVs, we put it in there with it, right?
Correct. You could put the Apple TVs in there, and then it has another HDMI port that could go in there as well. And then you could configure one of these buttons to select that source.
Are we gonna get information on how to configure this, or does somebody have to call you guys?
I believe people in plant facilities already knows how to do that at your guys' head plant facilities office, because this is a system that's everywhere. We don't provide the actual training on how to configure these systems at all.
I think that information will be in an O&M manual that we'll turn over, as soon as we usually give it to the district, so they'll have a copy of that.
Yeah.
It's just these two speakers?
Yes, there's 2 speakers. They're in stereo, so it'll be a left and a right. If you are a teacher in an instance and you don't want something on the projector or you want to mute it, we have a button here that is AV mute. When you push that button, it will flash red. It will mute the system, and it will also turn off the not turn off the projector, but turn off the image projecting until you re-push the button, and it will re-engage. The other button we have here is auto image. Auto image is for the projector to be able to pick the best syncing that is needed based off of the source. Since we have the projectors hooked up and it's already all in there, it will basically already auto sync it to whatever is most optimal for that. The other piece of equipment that we do have in here is hooked up to it's hooked up for the PA system. We have what they call as a page sensor. The page sensor is located over here on the clock speaker. It's this little red square. What this does is when music or anything like this plays, it mutes the system so that they can actually hear the announcements. So if there's any type of emergency notification or anything of that sort, then they'll be able to hear it. It automatically mutes it.
You scheduled that, right?
It's totally scheduled. It's very interesting that they have music here that comes on random times.
No, that's the record.
That was pretty convenient.
That's the tear-down.
Perfect.
Yeah.
As you see, it's off.
He does,
It'll
he
come back
does,
on.
he programs
3 seconds.
of
Comes automatically back on.
minute before the bell. So the kids know that that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying, it's just cool.
So as stated, you do have 2 microphones. The teacher microphone, they could either wear it clipped or it comes with the lanyard. The lanyard, to be able to use it, all they simply do is pick up the clip, slide it, and it will snap in. And then you could wear it around your neck.
That's a rechargeable battery, right?
It is.
A way to open that you have to
It is a built-in battery, so you do not need to remove it at all. It's built in within the actual unit itself. It comes prefabricated like that from Extron, so I don't think they're changeable at all because there's no way to actually open it.
Not like those
No, not that I know.
How long does it last?
How long does it last?
How long will
It should be in the owner's manual. I'm not too sure exactly. I know a lot of teachers that don't actually use them because the only reason that they would use them is for the ALS system, which is not always used.
Good morning, Lakewood. This is Joseph Guzman, your secretary of recreation.
Turn these on. For the teacher one, there's simply a button right here. All you would do is hold that on, and there's a light, indicator light on the front, on the top of the unit, and you'd wait for it to come on. Once it's red, it's showing that it's looking for the pairing, like a Bluetooth, and turns green, it means that it's linked up. Also on here, located with the power button, if you push it one time, it will start to flash. That means it's muted, so that they can't actually hear anything. So if they were to leave this on and go somewhere, they could actually mute it. Below that is volume knob, so that they could control the actual volume that they are putting up. And so when you change it, you'll hear it actually beep to signify that you're doing that. This button over here is a function button. If you hold this button and the power button, it will put it into link mode. You shouldn't have to do that because they're already all linked up per the room itself. As I said, you could wear it and they could just talk and it will actually project the sound.
Out of curiosity, how much does one of those cost? About.
How much does one of these cost?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Is that something, if the battery goes out, you have to just purchase a whole new unit?
I believe, yeah, you would have to purchase another one of these, but they should last a long time for. Yeah. I'm not sure if it says honest truth.
Are those IR or RF?
They're RF.
I guess I'm just curious to know if who's going to incur that cost if
They go out.
they go out.
Well, if it goes out while we're providing warranty, or if it's under warranty, then it will be under no one's
Correct.
cost. And I might be speaking out of terms here, but I believe Extron warranty is 3 years. I believe. For the student microphone, it's a little bit more simple. It has a switch on here. To turn it on, you simply push the switch up. It will be red. Once it is linked up, it will turn green. And they could just talk into it. And it will take a little bit, it takes a second to actually come up, but once it does, you could actually talk. This one also has a volume control function, but it's located within that battery. This one, you can actually change the batteries on. Right here is the volume up and the volume down, as well as the link button that you would engage if you wanted to link that up to another system. The batteries on these ones just pop out. I'm sure there's a way to do it in that one, but I haven't pulled it apart. I'm always scared to. So.
That looks like a double A.
Yes.
So we gotta be careful about teachers putting in a double A, because if they're trying to charge, or it ends up trying to be charged, it'll blow it up.
Yeah.
It might be too simple.
Too simple, yeah. And they could just simply keep one of these chargers. You have one for every single classroom, so if they just put it on there, it'll keep it charged for them so that they could do it.
Well, the point where you mentioned the feature to sync it, if you take that microphone to a different classroom just to test if there's good or bad, you can just hold on the feature and then sync to that room, or it has to be something more.
So what you would do is, within this unit, there is the VRM, which is for the VLM receiver. It's right here. On the top part of this, there's a button. It's the link button. So you would engage that button, and it would start searching for a pair, such as like Bluetooth, basically. And then you would engage the link on the microphone. And you will have, once it's within close proximity of it, it will automatically link up to that device. Now each of these are only allowed 2 microphones to be linked up. That's just the way Extron is. You can only have 2. Yeah, these 2. If you wanted to have 2 of these instead and no handheld, you could do that as well. But so each one of these, and this unit is powered through the switcher through a PoE. It does not have its power source.
Yeah, I'm asking that question because there's another school that has this same system, and I was trying to use like the previous versions Like you just take one to the next room and you test if the microphone is bad or not.
Yeah.
But I found out that on that feature that is you won't be able to use it just straight up from one room to another.
Yeah, no, it has to, you have to link it so that there's no, it makes you link it so that it doesn't accidentally cross into to the other room, since they are an RF signal, since it can go a longer distance than a regular IR sensor type of microphone. So they have it where you actually have to link it to it for the features. Going back over to here, the HDMI cable is simple. We just use a standard HDMI. You plug it in, the HDMI in. You would want to switch your signal to whatever the HDMI source is. And you would simply plug it into your device, such as your computer, your iPad, whatever it may be. If my iPad actually it will sync over and automatically pick it up. The good thing with the HDMI, obviously, is it does pick up the audio signal. It sends it as well. You don't need a separate cable for that. And as stated earlier, in the following buildings, all the inputs will be HDMI. There will be no VGA.
So that's assuming they don't have any VGA equipment, right?
No,
They will have to get the adapter.
you have to get the adapter, correct. So, and if you need DisplayPort dongles, the adapters as well, depending on whatever type of equipment you guys will be hooking up to these inputs. So that's kind of it. And then these buttons are open for future. What we was told by district is that they're left open for cable in the future. That's what we were told. What they're actually going to use it for, it's kind of up to you guys. If you guys wanted to add like the Apple TV, we configure this. And as you stated, it is in the GV, or in the owner's manuals, there are going to be instructions on how to actually do this. And then as well, the district does have a representative at Extron that deals with all your Extron equipment, and so they could also assist in the type of configuring that would need to be done if you guys were to add those types of equipment later on. It is green. That's being green because it's showing that there's actually signal to there from my iPad. If it's not, if there's no signal, it won't illuminate up. So that's a quick way to see if you're getting any type of signal.
So is that, am I seeing two VGAs on that?
So on this is the older style transmitters that we have provided, that we bought all of them out from Extron because you guys have portable ALS systems that connect via 3.5 millimeter jack. And so this has a VGA in, but it also has a local out. So this could also connect to a monitor so that the teacher could see it without having to turn around, or whatever be projected onto the screen itself. But this would only be in this building. It will not be in the future buildings.
Are they marked in and out?
Yes, they're local VGA in and local out, as well as the audio being in and the audio being out for the source. In the next buildings, there will be a separate plate that has a 3.5 millimeter that the ALS will plug into as well. And that ALS is provided by district. It is not provided by us.
That's going to cause confusion.
As far as the remote of the projector remote, they will still may be able to use it to adjust brightness or anything.
Yeah,
outside of the
if you
projector,
choose,
right?
yeah, if
Not
you choose to
change
allow
the
that.
source or anything.
Yeah, it's only connected to one source in here. That projector remote won't change the actual source unless you have more cables hooked up to there. This only has one from the actual switcher. The switcher does all the source switching itself internally, but the remote can be used to change the display, to change the brightness, the sharpness, the contrast, anything of that sort. I would personally recommend it being one of the IT people instead of one of the teachers, because if they do something a little too much,
Yes.
there's a lot of stuff on there that a lot of different options, because they could turn the projector upside down and all of a sudden it's got a keystone, whatever they may do. And so I would just be careful on allowing that type of access. However you guys feel comfortable though, because it is obviously your guys' building and your employees, so.
But it's
We'll
for,
adjust on it, which is the sensitivity. So on this front panel, it has up and down where you could actually adjust it as well.
so that's for the microphones.
For the gain of the
Yeah, for the
microphone, yes, correct. So it's right here, your voice lift. This is also controls your gain of your inputs, whatever input may be selected, and then your page sensor, which is over on the PA. And then also you could, your source select, you could do a different source selection from here.
But all of that's handled through that.
Through there, all the inputs and all that stuff. If he's talking about if you wanted to lower the gain on the microphone, if it was to feedback, which you could do it from there if it was too loud from there, depending on the person. I haven't experienced any feedback in the building from any of the microphones because I tested all the rooms.
Yeah,
But
that's
it was
cool.
too. Yeah.
As soon as they turn on, even though it's not just right below the speakers,
Yeah.
it was in the corner or actually at the entrance, they just turn it on and you will get like the
Yeah, and maybe they
feedback.
put up whoever did the configuration had just a lot of gain on the actual switcher itself.
I don't know if it's the same as this, but I'll check.